Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Claare.
As Gael Tyach Cartney Shodat, Claare Gael as Bavalia Musaltacha. My name is Robert Cadine Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
And Claare Gael comes to you in two languages, one of them the English language, a Shane Gilg vis Ferjo, and one of them is a Gilg, the Manx Gaelic, Chinian Amera, the mother tongue of Alun Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Mabanach dat Rish. In looking at a newspaper, the Manx Rising Sun, in fact it just appears as the Manx Sun in the heading of the pages, and this one was a copy for February of 1826, I read an article relative to the case that we heard about of the Manx Patriot, the newspaper, of which very few copies survive from 1824 and 1825, and which came to a rather ignominious end in February of 1826. When ye nailen a wullier de fusa dunye, Jason a rawi kunta monna, a ged de ren a wullier cor kitten dunye show de fusa an ye nega. Tan dunye pussy show gagen a velish a ngol gus a taie gus on keert, as de reges on shen and na dunach. Quite unseasonal, nothing but a nice thought at the moment. The Irish song Oro Shedavahawalia is saying that summer is coming. Well, it is, but not for a while yet. But in the meantime, this is Mary Dolan to sing about it. Tawas Geesjach, Radio Banning, Stasiwn the Nasiwn, Viscoller Scalia Mach by Dúlish, Alun Vannin.
Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia. Anishar hochtan hauri, Shedavahavandahlingor, they are graft vanning even, the hoover oi shall have merla. Studiel taleshne garland, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia. Anishar hochtan hauri, ta bran you way like tacht har soile, ogli arme lema varda, gaeli pains me gal na spawn he. Is kurshid ruiga gale, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia. Anishar hochtan tauri. A wheelerina varko vekken, mar a min bjorn the young schaffen, gran you way lagus me lagashkia. Ek vogert van herhalen, Oro Shedavahawalia, Arlen tuna kepo vanya, Oro Shedavahawalia. Anishar hochtan hauri, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia, Oro Shedavahawalia. Anishar hochtan hauri.
Mary Dolan, the singer there, is from Galway, and so naturally she wanted to sing a song that mentions Grania Whale, Grania Niwalia, Grace O'Malley, a great figure on the west coast, who's mentioned actually more in the English annals than in the Irish, having met with and being received as an equal by Queen Elizabeth I. Now, before dealing with that article about the Manx Patriot, there's someone else to introduce you to as well, and he was William Roper, who lived from 1765 to 1832. And this is how David Crane describes him. This was from a paper that David Crane gave to the Isle of Man Natural History and Antiquarian Society, so it's available in the Society's proceedings, but David Crane's papers were also reprinted in 1955 and made up the chapters in his book Manx Isle, a collection of Manx historical essays. Roper, he writes, was an Irish attorney who'd come to the island in dubious circumstances. He was said to have fled there to escape a debtor's prison, and in the course of his eventful career had kept a milk house in Liverpool and had been twice bankrupt. In 1822 he was admitted by the Duke of Atholl to a hostile Manx bar, whose attitude to him is sufficiently indicated by the opinions of two wrathful brethren of the law, expressed in the full-blooded diction of the period, so we'll have a look at those next. Tatai and Dunyapusi Sean's main na Céile. Tret and Vene Gray na bel Fisek an red, den Tai short, te Gray de Ginnis Scalia lie an red, the body be able to go the red card. Ach, gen a dodish be shiger machon an orbi ginaway. Renny lina na pogget ek, les pisheren as les pisheren luchag. As ek daag kesmed gouds ti golden red, ti kjou maag pishen na reg as allow yes as allow harshel. Tret I chitkas de tai ons men na Céile te sovols en dorrigis wat deni, as hen alle nach baches triaglach. Tret I golstjag on, ta correg reiri. Gin cadder arash sailor ven fusiu, sa tai shaw ha naiden dut de chorer be few. Son ons shaw ta ridden old tacher te jaru. As ushe gay ons cage a revola te na foglen shaw, as te grey son shen rish as rish. Ten when gul true dulju na shemeren, as te dulju follem. Ach tred I gol shiskus a teller, ti fedden shan ven and shen, bis na sai a snuggle a chionek. Well, staying unseasonal, perhaps a version of the tune of this song was collected here in the island in the late 19th century, and here we have the Gower Nightingale, Phil Tanner, and he sings about the sweet primroses.
Oh, as I walked out one midsummer's morning, for to view the fields and the flowers so gay, 'twas there on the banks of the sweet primroses that I beheld a most pleasant maid. 'Twas there on the banks of the sweet primroses that I beheld a most pleasant maid. Oh, you said, fair maid, what make you wonder? What is the cause of all your grief? I will make you as happy as any lady, if you will grant me one small relief. I will make you as happy as any lady, if you will grant me one small relief. Stand up, young man, and don't be so deceitful, for 'tis you are the cause of all my pain. It is you that has caused my poor heart to wander, and to find me comfort, it's all in vain. for 'tis you that has caused my poor heart to wander, and to find me comfort it's all in vain. I will go down to some lonely valley, where no man on earth there shall me find, where the pretty little small birds do change their voices, and every moment blow birds to swing, where the pretty little small birds do change their voices, and every moment blow birds to swing. So come all fair maidens by me take a warning, and pay attention to what I say. There is many a dark and a cloudy morning turns out a brighter a sunshine day.
From the Gower Peninsula of South Wales, that was Phil Tanner, the Gower Nightingale, as he walked out one midsummer morning. But there are primulas showing now. I saw some primroses just the other day. Tan ben ag braich Jane Chan ven shaw sa teller, wel shaw taien dunje fusiek. Tan Shan ven, ginstji den e tai de jarder en skonie, as gerde wel I jurkelrish ven ven fusi, nach beach best en sheshek, no de wel I foen fot an ulkshaw de goili, de jare I ons fischen, de gogre as de no de wel cannibliad. Ach tan Shan ven frail follich eg chowchulu je bullig boer, frail follich chowchulu je bullig boer. Eis tret an a rifter en chits jach on, tan ben eg eliach, as ta gyare ish ons pischen. Ta fer jou fagen feinje mer beg ben eg elia shaw, as no na dot die tarn boie, gau I tai as renny gyare a ver by an lau. Ach, renne ver klisteler soel jou chulu jen bullig, as stiach ons oche ven fusi. Ach tan Shan ven gillach oru de oil shibber, as chouds de jenu shen, te kors du kadli se finoch. Tret adulun in gadla, tan ven fusi as an Shan ven, karsnamach as a tai aglach shen. Now David Crane reports concerning William Roper that John Courtney Blewett said of him, "He is the greatest sycophant that ever disgraced mankind." Deemster Christian wrote, "This is the most perjured villain almost in existence." Crane goes on, though. Roper had his point of view too, and boasted in a moment of self-revelation, "If in combating the exertions made by a combination of the entire profession, bar and bench against me, I have used strong expressions, the fearfulness of my heart never has protected the insolence of my tongue." Crane goes on again. He had ability and proved a very useful servant to Duke and Bishop, these were the Murrays of course, at a time when no native lawyer was prepared to offend the anti-Athol party, with its powerful family connections in the Keys and on the bench. His advocacy of the Murray causes made him therefore an unwelcome pleader in the courts, which, although they had fallen to a low level of indignity, found his truculent and abusive approach more than even they could stomach. Scottish quartet, although playing live as a quintet with a drum kit added, that's the sound of fraas, which means a shower of rain. Such a rarity, you'd think, on the Scottish west coast.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Stasiwn na nasiwn ta radio fanning, sé Claare na Gael and Claare Shaw, Mer and Peen, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have you heard tell of our Bobby Bob?
Te care dat éisteach rys yn Claare Shaw rys rys siacht yn lwg jigol ar sgelia mach, lior is golgus yn y dega radio fanning as brwa craman eis rys, dyn Claare master yn rola yn sien. As for you getting podcast nasty in Claare nis, through den y dega radio fanning, na trwyd cerder yn podcast elia, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. In 1825, says David Crane, he, Roper, was disbarred by Governor Smelt at the instance of Deemster Christian, who accused him of contemptuous and threatening behaviour. His two patrons were highly indignant at the loss of one they considered indispensable to the transaction of their business in the courts, and brought backstairs pressure to bear in Whitehall for Roper's reinstatement. This having been obtained a year later, the astute and unscrupulous lawyer lost no time in seeking revenge. Seizing upon a foolish indiscretion of the Deemster, he sued him for libel and subjected him to the humiliation of being a defendant in his own court, a result not altogether displeasing to the Duke and his adherents. So that's a glimpse of William Roper as described by David Crane. Bishop Murray appointed William Roper as Vicar General in 1824, making him the first lay person in a post that historically had been held by a clergyman, and that alone, never mind Roper's demeanour, raised questions. Gael the rawe a laier we skebit vain red jorishnish, van a pisheren as pisheren luchag, fors rag and phone re hollis. As my sorben, ben fussies and chan, ben nebel de golgus taya wullier, as the neen ginch den erek de huljurid henkuri. Lain a bancha, tan slyer jit kujach e quira wullier, as den dunje pussy heen chitrishnius. Gouds tat nen sai me giet de woord, te de hulje veg in skiel enjach. Genelle ben pussy en rij beg, maar soort en dunje pussy greirie de inch douw riddenach. Te grei de ginny inch douw machjaun na aaslissen egge. Te ginch douw machjaun goldtrude geel, gestai. De rauwusje ons cage voor lord, as te ginch douw de rauwie grei, na vida grei, de shen ko rauji. De rauw na schemer en follum, ach de rauw shaan wens a teller. As de doort is, de rauw en dunje pussy ek beg en shaw, ach, de jinnige isje waru, as isje jare ons pischen, as echt neer isje gogre, as isje e. Théodore Jean-Marie Le Maguette, Theo Le Maguette, sings from the francophone tradition of Brittany to the pipes of Pierre Bedard. You've got to have some pipes yourself to be able to sing against the bagpipes, I'd have thought.
Amusons-nous, fillettes, profitant des beaux jours, profitant des beaux jours. Le temps de la jeunesse ne durera pas toujours. Le temps de la jeunesse ne durera pas toujours. moutons dans la plaine sont en danger du loup, sont en danger du loup. Mais vous et moi, Marianne, sommes en danger d'amour. Mais vous et moi, Marianne, sommes en danger d'amour. Les moutons vivent d'herbe, les papillons de fleurs, les papillons de fleurs. Mais vous et moi, Marianne, nous ne vivons que de langueur. Mais vous et moi, Marianne, nous ne vivons que de langueur.
Theo Le Maged singing and also playing the bombard there on that recording from about 1958. Amusons-nous fillettes, let's have fun, girls. In fact, she complains that there's a man she wants to marry and her mother won't let her, and her mother says, well, no, you crack on and find out what it's like. So she does, and he spends all his time in the tavern, and she has all the drudgery of the housework and raising the family to put up with, because he doesn't lend a hand at all. So that's the basis of Amusons-nous fillettes, as sung by Theo Le Maged and accompanied by Pierre Bedard. Joris yn tre sio fe gyn dy rawn dyn y pwsi coreber brysiastiach sgil sio. Ach, ti gynste. Ma fyrni'n chanel yn aslis y cion. As hai Ren y chan fen folach am I chaw chwlw jay mulag fwr. As sgon fi an ynw sien, tre henk na rwster yn tai, as fy tar meru ben eg, as hog a gi dy yw ffin tri cyrten, ben, jurg as bwy. Ma fyrni'n ti greirish yn dyn y pwsi rys, chanel yn aslis ffos e cion. As eich, renad marwi, as renad giara hi ons pishen. Ma fyrni'n chanel ma aslis ffos e cion. As ren fer jenny rwster yn fag yn ffenje mer a veneg. As nod raw ei dol I dy chiar yn fwy, gaw ei tai as ren ei giara y mer bain law. Ren clistal sws as eich hwtsi chaw chwlw jen fwlwg bŵr yn ochtemus. As sioch a ver leis yn ddeinja. Ec na ffoglan sio ren ei tar machi, as ren ei sailsich a machi dyn chesiach. Now, the advocate J.C. Blewett didn't like William Roper, as he wrote, the greatest sycophant that ever disgraced mankind, for his advocacy of the unpopular Murray family, the grasping Murrays as they were known, always trying to get more money and get things their own way. But then again, the dislike was evidently mutual, and in 1825, Roper wrote an article attacking J.C. Blewett, and he lodged the article in a public reading room, so it wasn't a private matter anymore, it was made public by Roper. Well, this action, basically a libel, led the Lieutenant Governor Cornelius Smell to ask the Clerk of the Rolls to remove Roper's name from the Manx bar again. Almost exactly a year later, he was reinstated, and that was through the influence, as we heard, of the man whom Roper had been advocating, John Murray, the Duke of Atholl. Amongst the rights the Duke had sold to get more money from the British Crown was the right to appoint the Bishop of Soda and Man, and in 1828 William Ward became the first such appointee. By this time George Murray, of course the nephew of the Duke of Atholl, who appointed him, William Ward became the first such appointee by the British Crown instead of by the Lord of Man. And he replaced Roper with Reverend Benjamin Philpott as Vicar General. Bisky Brish have released an album of 12 songs written by Ruby Biscoe Taylor, and the songs are both in Manx and English. There's one CD with the songs in English and the other CD with the songs in Manx. So this is the title track in Manx, Brebbel Ushja.
De chol mi hin Oilen el yu arum pin Tami skijik hinya Dax munjakt mubwaren Tami skijik skraga De chadau piaken De vadem flode skin
Brebbel Ushja, the title track from the new album in Manx by Bisky Brish. Or Treading Water as the title track of the English version of the album, and you can get both when you buy them. Now that background to William Roper helps to explain the content of this article from the Manx Rising Sun for Saturday the 18th of February of 1826. The proprietor of the Manx Patriot was looking to sell the typeset and other press paraphernalia, and that was to settle the paper's debts. We were not a little amused at some occurrences in the Douglas Courthouse in the cause of the Patriot types, when Mr. Roper presented himself at the bar as a creditor to the estate for £115, 2 exclamation marks. The conscientious affidavit of this gentleman will no doubt explain how he could possibly be a creditor to that amount. Mr. Roper, however, reminded us of his former celebrity, for on the judges concurring with some opinion that Mr. R was advancing, the latter retorted in his own violent style that he wouldn't be interrupted! Exclamation mark. It is in this island alone that we ever found the bar daring to lecture the judge and forbidding him to interrupt his own court! Exclamation mark. Ren a rooster, as gouds van skiel gullerinch, chit de weg op ben as fes, ben as bes. Liemenis as jinnige jit les skepeel, bij de ren the fully goil graemje de chon, as renad libre souse son keres. As we eschen as a skimmy olkegger son een draag junnewok, derit, as courage gebes. As shen skiel mechown een dunje poesie van een berliach. Ten na skiel en misich Manx Jacobus. Bekellach as kerk giri gul journeir a chelia, maar so ren a kellach trogel carriage elen, les kerk wheelen jurge, as renny corons greinas de keer luchi begge. As ren a kellach as a jaar drappel stjach on, as ren a imman rumboe. De lia henked quail ket, ren breach jou red wat de gul. Dregger a kellach, Corkier der Manx Jacobus shen to fine, shen an or dun ju gul roin. Cor liau mi meru, doort de ket. Dregger a kellach, kart de loer, ach seiden dut sei sheer de mai, as eich gejinu tujum gaur de wully. That's Cornish duo Illow Splan, which means splendid music. That's Maggie Wilmot on fiddle and Carlton Crouch on guitar with a traditional tune, Cur Eleth, Choir of Angels, with some additions by Merv Davey. dat stasiwn yn asiwn radio fannin, rys yn siol taw geisdiach, rys Claare na Gael, mish Robert gyda'n carswell, Robert y carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
As ren y celach goel y ren. Tam I gwiort, gaw cyrael dy glen, jay my chwilyn dyrga cart yn sien. As chwilyn, bis yw rei y red. As luchi, bis yw lwyd y charn y led. Corciert manche cobes, shen ta foin, shen yn ordon diw gol roin. Esh henk daw clach William, esh u, esh tunnag, esh frina, as feyera henk sneid. Renold yw drappel sws y charage, as wat gul imman rumboo. Och dre renked tai manche corbus, her rawi stai. Maar so ren na luchi tar na carriage stiach sa told. Ren na kellach as a chark etlach soes, as henked de wen sai darag. Ren a ket sai shies lurish an aisle. Ren na tunnag cori heen nustje. Ach, ren na nu fille heen ons einrich lau. Ren a frina saie heen ons saie gestau. Ren a snijd glimme stiach sa liavi masten na klushigan. As ren na clach William cori heen na lai liorish and doris. The Manx son continues. In the course of this gentleman's, that's William Roper's, pleading, to which he only had a right as far as it related to his conscientious claim, we were not a little surprised at his departing from that subject, and declaring his subject with menaces relative to the libel, reported to have been committed from the above press, and for which Mr. R. said the proprietor should be prosecuted. That he was not directly silenced must forcibly strike everyone, as he could have no right to discuss and scold about such a subject in that court. This would have surprised us from any other person, but our own experience of this gentleman sufficiently proves what he is capable of, and that nothing incommodes him in the way of feeling. On this principle we presume it was that he asserted a prosecution should be commenced by the Duke of Atholl against the proprietor of the press for the late libel committed in December last, and for which the writer is now prosecuted. We'll come back to the writer a little later. Now, Mary Dolan, that we heard at the start of the programme, is from the village of New Inn in the east of Galway. And here she sings about the little fair-haired boy and Buchalín Bawn.
Tam Grisha got lag, Elar machid zehir. Tagen landtacht in mich leefsche, kein arvein la meira. Tan die bert in ondam, o van varen. Is vannacht maar helse, ze is derach machas. Is geen lam aan lood, nach rijel neestig. Hoges grashar kies Gaelam dat chwefrish karchach. Ariel noran da barlam da nekin. Tá criach in isfalva go na fad in everid. Go krajas go kista in eving anod. No am a fear nach flordet go brach ve go derach. Ailan in veg vaga nam evis na mar. O grimsha garder on order nefa chanoragas lashkres nayanar yon ibernatonta our silent gator is fan ram feinig om vuachelina bon.
Another song in Irish by Mary Dolan and Buchalin Baum. The writer already facing prosecution for libel was editor and printer of the Manx Patriot, John Sumner. In fact, the Manx Patriot hadn't been printed some weeks because John Sumner had already been serving time in Castle Rushen for other libels that he committed whilst publishing the paper. However, that's as may be, the case before this court involved the proprietor of the Manx Patriot, Thomas Gael of Ballacurry in Rushen. In fact, he later went on to become a Deemster as well. Now, asks the Manx Son, by what name should we call a prosecution against a person who has no knowledge, either directly or indirectly, of the libel committed? And that too, when the author of the libel was in custody, to call it simply vindictive is too lenient. For we should consider such an act as comprising the most atrocious principles and a complete subversion and misapplication of the law, which makes the proprietor of a press liable, and which was evidently to prevent the libeller from escape, but not to render him a substitute for a libeller who is actually in a state of prosecution. And when it's ascertained, too, that the proprietor had not the slightest knowledge of the libel, and couldn't, therefore, be implicated in equity. Esh henk mansje corbus de valia, as higher gus a chollach de ynu aisle. Ach renne ket, kiau lai ons na sulianega. Esh renne rai de biustiach sa tai moor de unlache heen. Ach renne tunnag skjolle ostjes en edinega. Eis ve fosen tjermige leis een enrich lau. Ach ren an brisje tjau staige, as ren sjen korerne verruchen ege liantenregelia. De redden peut de gie, haie schiesse staalege. Ach, renne vriene 6 jaar aansen. As look de moeste schorri ege gauwe hien er jabi. A chouds renne kjon ege tujem a chluseg, stiach leis a sneid, de renne gillach maag leis a fien, as a raul renne rai maag. Ach tre renke dorus a tai, renne chlach wuljen limenis, as renne boule as dure bes. Cre een dunje hulk voor manche corbus ginauris. Well, shen and skiel chwerch shen is an jera skiel chwerch jay. Skiel chwerch elia master imedy fier elias a chaglum shaw, lorish na brerich and grim. A Welsh singer Owen Shears has this musical description of the blackbird, a derin dee.
A derin dee sin rodong gledydd, o ti a oer ar hyn ar newydd. Roedd wedi gang ar ifach gennin, sydd yn geriau sgwyll na blwyddyn. O derenes bach gennin rando, Gael gwybod beth sydd yn y blino. Pa'n ar byd sy'n troi'n derbyn, neu chiria'r wyt am gariad rhywun. O nid y byd sy'n troi'n fy erbyn, na chiria'r wyt am gariad un di. Ond gweld y mercher glan yn felly, ysgwn i ble i droi i gari. A roedd e di, gangar i mi, a derin di, a derin di. O fan i di, yr hen rhaid gweddw, a'i chod yn llawn yn ymwyl marw, a'i gwartheg dion yn ei fiches, ben a'i honno i'n ti fawrles. Ni fyna fi mor hen rhaid gweddw, a'i chod yn llawn yn ymwyl marw, na'i gwartheg dion yn ei fiches, ni langt lawr dy hon fy faddas. Ni fyna i, ma honna hi, a derin di, a derin di. Sydd yn gangen lawen derio, a deriau harian i'r cornelau, a nid i'n naid am naid i diffyg. Wel can ffarwel foed i'r deryn, wel dyna'r ferch roedd yn y mobyn, trallang ar fôr a gro mewn afon. I beth am merch yr hwsmo. Farwel i ti, farwel i ti, a derin di, a derin di. Farwel i ti, farwel i ti, a derin di, a derin di.
Owen Shears, singer and guitarist, and indeed Seafleur, who performs under the name of Cynefin, and a song about a derin di, the blackbird. Wel, rhys ons yn siaglym sio je sgil yn ferish na brerach yn grim, ta sy'n chit gysgil as ta enem y character, enem yn character, a chanadam greid fel enem sgil hyn. As rhys te bent yn de Tom o'r deg, fy sgilain mych yon Tom o'r deg, chne ffodd de henne, a chynach nimid taiacht roel troiltusen Tom o'r deg. Well, William Roper was evidently misrepresenting the case before the court dealing with the proprietor, Thomas Gaunt's settlement of the Manx Patriots' debts, and Roper used that as an opportunity to attack the Manx Patriot for what John Sumner had written and published in its pages, apparently impugning Roper's patron, the Duke of Atholl. Such were the goings-on in the Manx courts in February of 1826. Well, Shania, just and Traer, jet the Chorkion there, Claare and Gael. Stand by for 2 hours of the best of chill-out music for your Sunday evening between 7 and 9. And then at 9, Judith Leigh will be here with her programme Sundown. Fiddle player Ross Cooper is from Shetland, and Claare and Gael comes to a close with the Ross Cooper Band and a track called Sutherlands. As we saw until the next time then, this is Robert Robert de Karslag.
Our Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve, I'm a Creor, says Duts, make Yeri and share.